The breaking news this morning, the death of longtime South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, who died overnight after what his staff said was a brief and sudden illness at the age of 71. However, there is word this morning that paramedics were called to Graham's home in Washington, D.C. last night for reports of someone possibly in cardiac arrest. Being joined now by one of our State House insiders, Jon Parker, a longtime friend of Senator Lindsey Graham. Jon, sorry to have to give you the bad news this morning about this. You're just waking up this morning. Your reaction to the death of Senator Lindsey Graham?
Well, it's certainly a very sad day for South Carolina with losing one of the most influential senators our state has ever seen. He'll live in history right there next to Strom Thurmond. For over 3 decades, Senator Graham has been truly a powerhouse for South Carolina, and certainly a major loss and a major blow to our state today and to President Trump's agenda as well.
We've been showing the viewers this morning plenty of video of Senator Lindsey Graham. He was always accessible to the press. He was always making public appearances. He became one of the most powerful voices as far as senators are concerned in our nation's capital, Jon. And that's going to be a tough act to follow here in South Carolina.
It certainly will be. One of the things that I've said to folks over the years is there is no harder working politician in Washington. Senator Graham absolutely lived to serve this state and to serve this nation. There was nothing outside of maybe his sister and his family. There was nothing that was more important to him than this state and our nation. You may have agreed or disagreed with him, but man, he loves South Carolina.
And he was a big supporter of the U.S. military.
Yes, absolutely. He's known for the foreign policy efforts. He has been, him and John McCain have led many different efforts. But it's not just the foreign policy. On his departure here, he was serving as chair of the budget committee as well, helping to write the budget. And as we've seen over these last few months, he has been truly critical to President Trump on issues from the border to tax policy, working across the aisle to get the president's agenda enacted.
He was here in our studios back in early May, and he was telling me then he was looking forward to the primary coming and going and moving forward for the November election, seeking another 6-year term in office. At that time, he was 70. He just turned 71, I believe, just a couple of days ago. July 9th is his birthday. So he felt like he still had a lot to offer the state of South Carolina in seeking another term in November.
Absolutely. I'm sure. I know I'm stunned this morning. If I was betting, I would have guessed that he was going to be in there for at least another decade, serving our state and our nation. And so, this has certainly comes as a shock and a surprise to folks like myself in the state.
We're hearing from some of the people who served with him on Capitol Hill saying it was
decide whether or not to certify the election.
It wasn't the big wins that Senator Graham was most proud of. It was the smaller victories, helping voters, constituents, getting things done for small town USA here in South Carolina. It was those things that he considered to be some of his biggest accomplishments. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And another thing beyond foreign policy, he had just so many different impacts. The lesser followed conversations about the judiciary, judicial reform, who serves in our Supreme Court. He has, as serving on the Judiciary Committee, he had such incredible influence over how our courts and our justice system is run. He had such a specific and true philosophy about how our justice system should run and our judiciary should run. And it did not matter about partisanship or politics. There were principles that he followed, and he said, I'm sticking to this. And those type things, as well as helping the folks back home where he came from in Oconee and across South Carolina, just those things were what matter and what drew drove him at the end of the day.
I remember when he ran for president back in 2015, he was trying to get the Republican nomination. Ultimately, President Trump got that nomination. There was a lot of, so to say, bad blood between Senator Graham and then citizen Donald Trump. But once Trump became the nominee and once he became president, he had no bigger supporter than Senator Lindsey Graham.
This is true, and it also speaks to one of the important things to understand about Senator Graham is he's someone who worked across aisles and worked with everyone and marched to the beat of his own drum. He said what he thought. He stood for what he believed in time and time again, and then was able to work with people and build relationships. You would be hard pressed to find anyone in Washington who he's worked with who could say a negative thing about Lindsey Graham. They may disagree, but they wanted him personally. He worked really hard with people to make things happen.
And I remember he worked hand in hand with Senator John McCain, who we lost a few years ago. McCain and Graham, they were quite a force in our nation's capital, especially, you know, they would just team up together, and it just seemed like things got done, whether you agreed with it or not, I guess, as you said.
Absolutely true. And, you know, it's just incredible because when you measure the impact of a man, it's hard to imagine really anyone else in South Carolina today who's had more of an impact on our state. But then to top that off, Lindsey Graham had such an incredible impact on the world. Working with John McCain, having such a dramatic influence from Russia and Iran to, China to Ukraine. It's just really, truly a different world we're waking up to today.
John, he was just in Ukraine on Friday. He seemed to be perfectly fine then. No hint at all that he had any kind of issues on Friday as he met with the Ukraine president.
That's absolutely true. It comes as a shock to me this morning, as it does to so many, I'm sure. But that is one of the things. We aren't guaranteed another breath, right? And we have to thank God for every moment that we have on this earth. And Lindsey Graham is an example of someone who's taking that time to do all that he could with those precious breaths that we are given, because life is short and nobody knows the hour.
All right. Our State House insider, Republican strategist Jon Parker, I want to thank you for offering your insight and your reaction this morning on the sudden death of Senator Lindsey Graham. Thank you again.
Thank you, Jared.
All right. And again, we're hearing stories, as you've heard John just talk about there, stories of Senator Graham's service to our state and to our nation. We're continuing to get reaction into our information center, and we're passing along to you as soon as we get it, both on air and online at WLTX.com.